Hello and welcome to the second episode of Mid-Island Custom Diecast for today, which is February 28th. This is the Four Horsemen build for the month of February, which is a Hot Wheels mod rod, and we're supposed to be turning it into a convertible. So remember, if you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications on future videos. So here's a casting we started with, the Hot Wheels mod rod. Not one of my favorite castings, but the challenge is to make it a convertible, and I've never really had a chance to use my jeweler saw for anything, so I figured let's get at it. And so with that, let's roll the intro and get started. So I took the liberty of drilling out the posts off camera. Here are the components. The interior with the engine and those little nubbies for velocity stacks, I guess. And there's the windshield and the body with the little straps on the back boot for my friends over across the pond. So started out with the cutoff wheel on the Dremel. This made a hell of a mess, and really, in the end, actually, it's slower than using the jeweler saw to cut through this metal, it seems. And so I just took off the front portion of the roof with it, and then got out the jeweler saw to cut the back part of the roof off. Haven't found a good, really way to film this process, so here's a little bit of me actually doing it, and then I filmed my work mat while I took it over to the vise. So you have to watch a little bit, and then I finish it up off camera. Here it is after having the roof cut off. Still quite a bit of filing to do as I cut it pretty unevenly on both sides. Really made quite a mess, but we'll take care of that in a little bit. Pretty sturdy still, even with luckily Hot Wheels put those little corner pieces in to hold the casting together, otherwise this thing would have fallen right apart in me. But anyway, we'll file down the bits that aren't quite level from side to side, and we'll go ahead and try and fit this thing together to figure out what we're gonna do for that back section. There you can see I've got it all filed. Yeah, there we go. So we got a filed pretty low, but I think it comes together in the end. So let's get it put together. Alright, I got it. There we go, put the interior in, and just kind of trying to judge how much room we've got in behind the seats there. Yeah, just like that. And these are the wheels I picked out for this build. No idea where they came from. Some Hot Wheels premium casting anyway. We'll pop the old ones out, and we'll pop the new ones in, and we'll just make sure they fit properly. And they're just fine. Yep, perfect. So after fitting the wheels, I was having a look at these little wing things on the side of the chassis, and I didn't like them. So I cut those off, and I filed them down and sanded them down, made them all nice and smooth. So this is after paint stripping. As you can see, I don't really know what happened, but not much, obviously. So we'll take the wire wheel on the Dremel, blast away all that paint, any oxidization, get it out of all the nooks and crannies and everywhere else. So while I was while I was doing the wire wheeling here, I realized I really don't like these little nostril headlight things on the front either. And I had this, I don't know, came from a Model A maybe or something. I didn't end up using these exact headlights, but that was the idea I was going to go with. Those ones are too big to fit the wheels. I would have had to widen the wheels too far. So anyway, we cut off the nostril headlights that come with the casting, and this is where we get to. So we got to file that down. Wouldn't it be awesome if I could file this fast? I had about 2.5 or 3 hours worth of filming for this build that I have cut down to this 12-minute video. Anyway, after filing, go ahead and had to fill in both the sides. Just a couple of little, it wasn't very even, a couple of little grooves that were missing out. So we filled that in, and then it was on to trying to figure out the convertible top cover, I guess you call it, or the back deck. Anyway, cut out a piece of styrene, and this is something that I'm not, haven't really worked with much in the past. I do have a bunch of little pieces of styrene kicking around, so we cut out a piece and cut it out a little bit big to start with, because I figured I could file it down, but I can't add more to it. So here we are sanding, and we'll work at it until we get to this point where it fits in nicely. Pretty tight, not too tight though, so got to get out the CA glue. And we'll glue that all around the outside, just to make it nice and strong. And after we got it glued in place, we'll go ahead and file it to make sure it's nice and flat. Obviously this isn't good enough. The seats do not fit in, so I had to cut a bit more off. And not only did I have to cut some off, but I did have to file quite a bit of it down, because even after cutting it, it still didn't fit. So at this point I shut the camera off and got to this point where I filed a little bit of a rounded back to it. And after filing it a bit more, then we throw some spot putty, glazing and spot putty. This is the Bondo. And we set that aside to dry overnight. While that was drying, I took the interior and engine section and cut those little stacks off. I thought they kind of looked a little, I don't know, nubby. So took the pin vise and drilled holes where the nubs were. These are like pilot holes, and then I drilled a bigger hole, and then I found these little ferrules that I've got a little tiny drawer full of, more than enough to last probably my lifetime. And we put one in each of those little holes, glued them in, and this is what we ended up with, was 3 little stacks that actually have holes in them. So then while I was working on that, I noticed that the exhaust pipes could probably use a little hollowing out to look a little bit more real. So now this is, believe it or not, even though everything's still out on the desk the way it was the next day, we're going to sand off the spot putty and move on to swapping out the steering wheel. Hate these little Hot Wheels steering wheels. So these are 3D printed from a guy on Shapeways, and we pop it in a little CA glue there and just attach it to the dashboard. These are like a Momo replica steering wheel, and I think they look pretty cool. Now on the paint, this is the smoky granite paint that I just picked up from Splash. I really love these paints. They're super easy to spray with the airbrush. No mussing with reducers or any of that stuff. Yeah, so I really like the way this color turned out. Here is the first coat that you get to see. Now this is an extreme metal from AK chrome, so I've already gone ahead and sprayed the whole interior section black now, and then we'll just put some chrome over the front piece, shine that up a bit, and then we'll show you all the pieces we've got to put together. Not gonna show you any of the detailing, we'll save that for the end. There's the wheels, they're in there, no problem. There's the body with the clear coat, new headlights, and you can see the straps on the back. There's the windshield I cut down so it would fit in, and the interior piece. So before we see exactly where we ended up, here is a look at what we started with. Typical Hot Wheels mod rod. And here is where we ended up. I really like that smoky granite color. The lighting shows those little straps on the back as more of a yellow color, but in person they are a little more orange. You can see I switched out the stacks, drilled out the exhaust, added headlights, swapped the wheels, obviously cut the roof off. So anyway, please let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't, like and share and all that good stuff. And we will catch you on the next one.